So we are almost there. We are almost at 100 likes for the prepare for the CCHI video. We have 78 likes upon checking like 5 minutes ago, so we still have 22 more likes to go. That is very little, guys. I'm pretty sure we can get it. Can we get it this Friday? I'm pretty sure we can. And why are we trying to get this video prepared for the CCHI to 100 likes? Because once we get that video to 100 likes, we're gonna be publishing the MIP 21, which is Medical Interpretation Practice Video 21. Is a brand new video for a brand new season. We're gonna be putting out 20 more of those videos, so we're gonna give you guys a chance to get that video published in YouTube once the prepare for the CCHI video gets to 100 likes. That video is now available in Patreon upon getting 50 likes, and you can go check that out. We give you everything, all full access to the page with just $1 of your support. Of course, you're not limited to just $1. You can help us out with whatever you want, but just $1 little of your support will help motivate us to create more content and give you everything. Medical interpretation videos ad-free, scripts for those videos, and script for the videos, and the answer sheets for the videos, vocabulary sheets, and much more. So let's get to it, guys. Let's get the prepare for the CCHI video to 100 likes. Once we do so, we're gonna be letting you comment, and after some time we're gonna pick 2 random comments. The people who made those 2 random comments are gonna get exclusive links to MIP 22 before everyone else, and we're gonna give them a chance to record their interpretations and send them over to us. That way we can provide them with some feedback. So let's get that video to 100 likes, guys. We're almost there. I'm pretty sure we can do it by Friday. Can we do it by Friday? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right. Good talk, guys. Good rally. All right. So hello and welcome to Online Sessions, where right after my shift I give the highlights of my workday and answer any questions that might have been asked at a previous session. My name is Juan. I am an English, Spanish, medical video remote consecutive interpreter with over 4 years of experience. Today is August 16, 2021. I took a total of 35 sessions today, audio sessions and video sessions, more video sessions like always, but that's my title, right? Video remote interpreter. So there's no complaining there today. There will be on another day. It's not today. All right. And I do have just one highlight today, and that highlight is Angelman Syndrome. Síndrome de Angelman. It's in Spanish. And what is this? The definition is from Wikipedia, and it is a neurogenetic disorder characterized by severe intellectual and developmental disability, sleep disturbance, seizures, jerky movement, especially hand flapping, frequent laughter or smiling, and usually a happy demeanor. Now, unfortunately, or sadly I should say, well, both, right? It was a little kid. He was probably like around 5 or 6 that had this. I didn't get to see him because he was on a medical bed, and they had like some mats covering him, I think, so he wouldn't hit himself, because he was jerking a lot. And poor kid had seizures, and he had this Angelman syndrome. And funny thing is that whenever a particular nurse, anyone else could get close to the boy and he didn't have this reaction. But when a particular nurse got in front of him, the child just laughed, like uncontrollable laughter. He couldn't stop laughing. Like, it got so bad that the nurse actually had to step away, like from the side of the mat. So she was talking behind the mat, so the child couldn't see her. So I don't know. Well, of course he had that Angelman syndrome, right? And he was getting ready for a surgery. So I didn't really get to see the child. I saw his hands and I saw him laughing. But I mean, it sucks that these diseases exist, right? But I mean, they are there. sadly. All right, so that was the only highlight today, and well, we're gonna get right into it. The 12 must-know genetic counseling vocabulary terms. I mentioned it before. I hate genetic counseling because they always mention diseases or vocabulary terms that I am not familiar with, and well, it's hard trying to know all of them, right? So I'm gonna give you a list with 12 terms. It couldn't be 10 because there are some terms that I hear on almost every on every genetic counseling session. That way I didn't want you guys to be caught by surprise, but do understand that there are much more terms that are going to come out in genetic counseling session that you're gonna have to learn. And if I could give you some advice, just learn like the most common ones, and just like the really uncommon ones, just ask. Honestly, just ask. Like, you know what, this is interpreter, I'm not familiar with this term. And if you're a remote interpreter like me, you can quickly look it up. If you're not, then I don't know what you guys do there if you're in-person interpreter. I've never had that experience, but I'm pretty sure they probably do allow you guys to look it up or something, right? I don't know. So make a cheat sheet as well. Yeah. All right, and so let's get started. So before I do, I want to tell you that there is a very important term that I did not include in this list. That's amniocentesis, and the Spanish translation for that is amniocentesis. And I did not include that on here because I've already included it on one of the 10 must-know OBGYN vocabulary words, so it should be in one of those videos. I'm not sure in which one, 1, 2, or 3, but it should be included in there. And that is like very you are every genetic counseling session do I hear amniocentesis, so you better know it. Go back to the video. I'll probably be posting a link up here and then a link in the description for that video, so you guys can get that knowledge on that word. All right, now the following definitions were taken from medlineplus.gov and stanfordchildrens.org. All right, and term number 1, that is birth defect or defecto congenital. Now, of course, you can also use defecto de nacimiento in case they don't understand defecto congenital, because congenital is pretty high register, right? I did not even know that word until I became a medical interpreter. So I would go with the defecto congenital first. If the person doesn't understand, then you can go ahead and try defecto de nacimiento. All right, and what is this? This is a health problem present at birth. So anything that the child is born with, any problems, that is, any health problems, that is a birth defect. All right, so for example, a heart murmur, that's a birth defect. Our congenital syndromes, right? Those are all birth defects. All right, and number 2, carrier testing, prueba de portador. Now, what is this? It is testing performed to determine whether a person carries one copy of an altered gene for a particular recessive disease. So if you are not familiar with genetics, we have like 2 chromosomes, right? One that was given from our mother, one that was given for our father, and that makes like the gene, right? So there is a dominant gene and a recessive gene. Now, whatever is dominant is what's going to take a feature in our body, and whatever is recessive is going to be dormant. We still have it there, we just don't show those traits, right, of that dormant or recessive gene. All right, so now some diseases can be, or syndromes or genetic defects can be recessive. Thus, they are in a recessive gene, right? The person has that gene but does not have that disease because it was not manifested and is not shown in his person, right? Because the main gene, the dominant gene, is the one that is actually well, it's the one that's showing the trait, right? So he has the disease gene, but it's a recessive gene and the person doesn't have it. But what happens? A person with a recessive gene, and then what happens when like both parents have the same recessive gene, right? Both of them don't have the disease but have the gene, and they have a potential of actually, if they mate, they have a potential for those two genetic for those two recessive genes to combine, and then the child will definitely 100% have that disease. So what they do is they do a carrier testing to make sure that the parent, well, just to see what diseases the parents are carrying in a recessive gene, and then if they see that both parents have a potential for a disease, then they tell them, you know what, your baby needs to get tested because there's a high probability that that baby is gonna come out with that disease. All right. Number 3, chromosomal microarray analysis, and in Spanish is análisis de microarray cromosómico. Now, this is a new laboratory test used to detect chromosomal imbalances at a higher resolution than current standard chromosome or FISH techniques. So this is what they actually use. This is like the latest technology, or at some point it was the latest technology. I don't know if they have invented some other stuff, but this is pretty new, and they are able to see like the chromosomes with much more detail, and that way they can really see the detail, like is it a damaged chromosome or what's going on, all of that stuff. They are able to see much more diseases or much more detail, let's just leave it at that, which with this new type of analysis, chromosomal microarray analysis. All right. And number 4, here it is, congenital. Now, congenital, you already know what it is. It's present at birth. Now, why did I want to include this? Because they never say congenital defect in English, they say birth defect, but in Spanish they do use congenital, like I mentioned. And congenital is a word that gets thrown around a lot in genetics, right? Because, well, most of the diseases they test for are congenital. People are born, well, the babies are born with these diseases. They don't develop them later in life, although they could have genes that means that they are at high risk for developing other diseases in life. But if it's not present during birth, it's not congenital. All right. And number 5. Number 5 is, can you guys see it? Oh, here it is. Trisomy, or in Spanish, trisomia. What is trisomia? Is having 3 copies of one chromosome rather than 2 copies. So, you know, like I told you, each parent gives us 1 chromosome, and we have a total of, how many chromosomes do we have? I think we have 22 or 24. 24, because it's 12 and 12. So we have 24 chromosomes, and we have 2 from each parent. But, you know, nature being all perfect and stuff, and not totally random, sometimes something crazy happens within our biology, and you get, bam, instead of 2 of one mother chromosome and 1 father chromosome, you get probably 2 father chromosomes and 1 mother chromosome, or vice versa, right? 2 mother and 1 father, and then that creates some problems because that's not supposed to be there. That's something extra that is added. So I have 3 perfect examples coming up. Don't you worry. I got you. All right. For number 6 is Down syndrome. In Spanish, síndrome de Down. And this is trisomy. Oh, it's backwards. What is it? Trisomy 21. I'm actually looking at 15 or 51. Trisomy 21. All right. So that's trisomy 21. It's Down syndrome, and this is a combination of birth defects caused by the presence of an extra 21 chromosomes. This is a very, very characteristic. You can see it on a person's face. They have if you look up Down syndrome, in case you're not familiar with Down syndrome, if you look up Down syndrome in Google in the pictures, you're gonna see the facial features. They're very characteristics of Down syndrome, and they can vary. They can be very severe to very mild. I remember there was a story about a guy with Down syndrome who even had his own pizza shop. So very mild. But then there's other children that just definitely there's no way that they can take care of themselves. So that is like the one of the main things they detect in genetic counseling. That is but Down syndrome is detected way before genetic counseling in OBGYN sessions, where they just look. I can't remember if they look at the neck, and then if there's like I can't remember if there's a bone missing or if their neck is shorter, that signifies that there's a possibility that there might be Down syndrome. Then once they get to the genetic testing, they can do testing to confirm that. So that is trisomy 21 Down syndrome. All right. And the next one is patau syndrome, or in Spanish, síndrome de patau, and that's trisomy 13, trisomia 13. What is trisomy 13? Is the presence of 3 number 13 chromosomes, also known as patau syndrome. Is a chromosomal condition associated with severe intellectual disability and physical abnormalities in many parts of the body. Now, I can't really tell you much about this. I just know that translation, but not the definition. I don't know like any characteristics of this disease or anything. So there's not much to tell you there. But just remember, trisomy 13 and 21. Most of the time you're going to get trisomy, not patau syndrome. But just in case, you guys are going to be ready, right? All right, and now for trisomy 18. Where is that? Here it is. Number 8. That is, right there. Edwards syndrome, or síndrome de Edwards in Spanish. That's trisomy 18. Trisomy 18. Now, every time I hear the word Edwards, I think of Edwards. Now, to anyone that has no idea what I'm talking about, if you have ever seen, what is it? Alchemy, Full Metal Alchemist, hell of an anime. I recommend that. Go ahead and watch it if you haven't, and if you have, Edward. Sorry about that, guys. Sad story. All right. Sad story, and then I'm saying it with a smile, right? I probably seem evil to all of you guys that know what I'm talking about. All right. Number 9. Actually, I didn't even say what that was, huh? All right. I got carried away with the Full Metal Alchemist. All right. Edwards syndrome is a chromosomal condition associated with abnormalities in many parts of the body. Individuals with trisomy 18 often have slow growth before birth, intrauterine growth retardation. Intrauterine, that means inside of the uterus. See, that's like the thing that I struggle with the most. Uterus. but I can say uterus. And the other day, what did I get stuck on? Ureters. See how easy I can say it now? Intrauterine, interpreter. But that's the interpreter, TER. That gets me stuck. But who cares? You're not here to hear about me struggling on words, right? Or maybe you are. All right. No, there's not much that I can tell you about Edwards syndrome, except for what I already said. Number 9 is Turner's syndrome, síndrome de Turner. And what is Turner syndrome? Actually, Turner, not Turner's. Turner is a combination of health problems caused by the absence of one sex chromosome, leaving a single X chromosome, or 45 total. All right, and for this one, I'm not sure what this is either. I just know the definition. Now you know. You're starting to know why I dislike this type of sessions, right? Too many diseases and very complicated, very complex. So I just know like the basic ones, Down syndrome. All right. But I do know the translation for all of them. Like we as interpreters, we can get away with that, right? We can not know the definition of something, but just as long as you know the translation, you're good. So if you don't know the definitions for all of these, like I don't, but you just remember the translation, you're good. All right. So don't beat yourself up so much if you don't know the definitions for all of this. You don't even need to know the definitions. Just know the translations, and you'll be all right. All right. You can quote me on that one. All right. Number 10, TaySachs syndrome. And right here, disease, I'm sorry, this is a disease, TaySachs disease, and this is enfermedad de TaySachs. Now, what is this? This is an inherited autosomal recessive condition that causes a progressive degeneration of the central nervous system, which is fatal, usually by the age of 5. Now, this looks like a pretty bad disease as well, something that nobody probably wants to have for the child, right? So those, I think that is it. Yeah, that is it for the diseases and syndromes that I'm gonna mention today. And like I said, it's not necessary for you to actually know what diseases are. Of course, it will help. It would help in recalling, right? Because but for the most part, I really did have to look for those definitions. Of course, Down syndrome, no, right? Because I am pretty familiar with Down syndrome. It's something that is pretty common. We see people with Down syndrome walking around the street, so that's common. But I mean, I've never like actually seen, or if I've seen it, I'm not sure that I've seen it, right, with any of the other diseases or syndromes. Okay, so just remember, just know, if you're curious and you want to know the definition, more power to you, and that will help you in recalling. But if you just want to remember what the translation is, then that works too. All right, and I've probably said that too much, so I'm gonna stop saying that. All right, and number 11, chromosomes. And what are chromosomes? These are microscopic structures present in the nucleus of each cell, which contain all of our genes. Abnormal size or number of chromosomes is a cause of some birth defects and mental retardation. So chromosomes are pretty much like our blueprint, right? They tell each cell what to do. It's like it is a genome. But it's like this little map that every one of our cells has, and it's identical. Like if it's a cell inside your body and you didn't gain it from anywhere else, right? It's a cell that's naturally occurring inside your body. It was in you. The original cell from that cell was in you at birth in your mother's womb. Then that cell is gonna have your chromosomes, an exact copy of that chromosome, and that is what makes us us. And the sperm has like a full chromosome, and the egg has like a full chromosome. And you probably remember this from middle school, I guess. Then when the sperm fertilizes the egg, then the chromosomes get like they get like it's an X or a Y, no, depending on your sex. And of course, I'm not an authority on this, so take this with a grain of salt. All right, so when the sperm and the eggs combine, then half of the chromosomes of the sperm and half of the chromosomes of the egg get turned into one, and they combine, and then voila, a new blueprint for a human being. And then he just divides, and voila, we have a baby. All right. I'm sorry if this was the worst explanation I could have ever given of chromosomes, but at least you have a better idea of what they are. All right, and for number 12, familial, and in Spanish is hereditario o familiar. Now, what is familiar? It's occurring in one or more than one family member. A familial condition may be due to inherited genetic factor or more than one genetic factor, an environmental factor, or some combination of these diseases. So, whenever there's a disease like a syndrome or something, most likely, I don't know, I'm sorry about that. I had a burp stuck in my throat. But I'm sorry. I shouldn't be saying this because I am not really sure about this. But for the most part, I guess I can go with that. Right? Because I'm not making a statement. So, for the most part, if the child has a syndrome or something, for the most part, is that one of the parents is carrying a gene that the child has this, right? And I don't know if there's some way that the child could be born with that if it's not present in the genes, right? So I don't really know, but when they talk about familial diseases or familial syndromes, it's things, for example, like Down syndrome. For the most part, if there is Down syndrome in the family, like one of your family members has Down syndrome, there's a possibility that Down syndrome can also be passed down from you to your offspring. And that also comes with twins. If there's twins in the family, there's a possibility that you can also pass those genes, right, for twins onto your offspring. So that is what familial is, something that is in family genes, and it happens to like almost everyone in the family, or it skips a gene, whatever. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, all right, so those were the 12 must know. Those were the 12 most known genetic counseling vocabulary terms. I hope they are beneficial and that they help you. So that will be pretty much it for me today. I'll be here every Monday through Friday after work. And remember that we are still trying to get the Prepare for the CCHI video to 100 likes. Just 22 more likes to go, guys. Come on. We can do it. All right. And also remember that we have a Patreon page for as little as $1 of your support. You help motivate us to create much more content. We give you access to all of the medical practice videos free of ads. And we give you scripts to those videos, answer sheets, vocabulary list, and much more content. And most importantly, you will forever win a place inside of our heart. So we love you. We love all of our Patreons. We love everyone that has bought us a coffee. We love all of our subscribers. We love all of our viewers. And we love you. That is watching the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so for much more content, and don't forget to share. Happy interpreting. Goodbye.